What if I told you that your hustle isn't the problem? It's your lack of coherence. It's because no matter how hard you grind, the universe doesn't reward stress, mirrors your state of alignment. We have been taught a story since childhood. Story that hard work is the answer to everything. If you want success, grind. If you want wealth, sacrifice sleep. If you want to manifest, you must constantly push, fight, and strive. But here's the paradox. The more you chase, the more it runs. The harder you push, the heavier it gets. The louder you try to demand from the universe, the quieter it becomes. This is not because effort is meaningless, no. Effort has its place. But effort is not the frequency the quantum field responds to. The quantum field is not a scoreboard keeping track of your hours. It is not waiting to reward the person who worked the hardest or punish the one who rested. It is responding to one thing: coherence. Think about it. How many people do you know who work tirelessly? Who grind day and night, who exhaust themselves in the name of success, yet their lives don't look any different year after year. They've sacrificed joy, health, and presence, but the doors remain closed. And then you see someone else who seems to do less, who doesn't live in the frenzy of constant struggle, yet things align for them. Opportunities find them. The right people enter their path. They attract instead of chase. This isn't luck. It isn't favoritism. It's coherence. The illusion of hustle is dangerous because it convinces you that survival, energy, stress, fear, anxiety's the way forward. But the truth is, those states are incoherent. They send scrambled signals into the field, your frequency. And instead of attracting what you want, they amplify what you don't want. The universe doesn't hear the words you speak. It feels the vibration you emit. Hustle often comes from lack. You hustle because you don't feel enough. You grind because you don't believe it can come any other way. And so the frequency you broadcast is, I don't have it. I'm not enough. I'm separate from what I want. The quantum field mirrors that state back to you over and over again. That's why so many people live in cycles. They hustle, they burn out, they collapse, and then they hustle again. They think more pressure, more sweat, more exhaustion will finally open the door. But what they don't realize is that the lock doesn't open by force, opens by frequency. Let's bring this closer. Imagine two radios in front of you. One is tuned to static. The other is tuned to clear music. The static one is your hustle. It's noise, effort, movement, but no clarity. The other, the one that plays with precision and flow, is coherence. Now here's the point. The quantum field is the song. If you want to hear it, you don't crank up the volume on the static. You tune your frequency until the signal becomes clear. That's the difference between trying and aligning. Most people are slaves to the illusion of hustle because society glorifies it. We celebrate busyness as if it were a badge of honor. We glorify exhaustion as if lack of sleep equals achievement. But busyness is not the same as progress. Exhaustion is not the same as alignment. You can move all day in circles and never arrive. The people who understand manifestation at its deepest level are not the ones who chase endlessly. They are the ones who become still, who create inner order, who master their internal state before they ever take a step. Because when your energy is coherent, the field reflects coherence back to you. So let me say it plainly. Hustle without coherence is wasted energy. You cannot bully the universe into compliance. You cannot yell loud enough to change frequency. The missing law of manifestation has never been hustle, it has always been coherence. This is the illusion we must shatter. Until you see it clearly, you'll keep exhausting yourself trying to make the universe listen to your noise, instead of realizing it has been waiting all along for your signal. Most people are taught from childhood, That effort is everything. Work harder, grind longer, push through, and eventually, life will reward you. And while discipline and persistence are valuable, effort alone, without alignment, can become a treadmill that never gets you anywhere. Think about it. Have you ever poured your heart, your sweat, your hours into something only to feel like you were moving in circles, not forward? That's because the universe doesn't respond to sheer force, responds to frequency. Imagine a person rowing a boat with incredible strength. Arms burning, muscles straining, but unknowingly rowing. Against the current, no matter how hard they work, they'll never reach their destination. That's what life looks like when effort isn't aligned with the right frequency. You might be working, yes, but you're rowing in the wrong direction. The truth is, frequency determines flow. When your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs vibrate at the frequency of what you want, effort transforms into momentum. Suddenly, the current supports you instead of fighting you. This is why so many people burn out. They confuse effort with progress. They believe that the more exhausted they are, the closer they must be to success. But exhaustion is not a measurement of alignment. In fact, sometimes it's proof that you're working against yourself. Life was never designed to be endless. It was designed to be a dance between energy and intention. The quantum field responds not to desperation, but to resonance. Consider a radio station. You can twist the knob all you want, put in more and more effort trying to force the static to clear. But unless you're tuned into the exact frequency of the station, you'll never hear the music. Once you align to the right frequency, the music plays effortlessly. You don't have to force it, simply flows. That's how manifestation works. When you set intentions but operate from a frequency of fear, doubt, or lack, your effort becomes misdirected. You might say you want abundance, but if your thoughts vibrate scarcity, your actions will sabotage your desires. You might say you want love, but if your inner frequency is insecurity, you'll attract relationships that confirm that insecurity. No matter how much you try, if the frequency is wrong, the outcome will reflect it. This is why frequency beats effort every time, because effort is physically limited by energy, time, and resources. Frequency, however, taps into the infinite. When you align with the right frequency, opportunities unfold that no amount of raw effort could force open. Doors appear where walls once stood. People show up at the right time. Ideas land in your mind seemingly out of nowhere. Alignment creates acceleration. The truth is, manifestation begins long before action. It begins in the thoughts you choose, the emotions you cultivate, the beliefs you nurture. Action becomes powerful only when it's fueled by alignment. Without it, action is just noise. With it, action becomes amplified. So ask yourself, what frequency am I living in right now? Am I aligned with what I want, or am I rowing against the current, mistaking effort for progress? The moment you shift from force to frequency, life shifts with you. Because the quantum field doesn't care how hard you push. It cares how deeply you resonate. And here's the secret. When you align first, effort doesn't disappear, it transforms. Instead of feeling like struggle, it feels like flow. Instead of exhaustion, it brings fulfillment. That's the difference between grinding endlessly and being carried by momentum. Alignment turns effort into impact. Now, let's go deeper into what I call the frequency principle. Imagine for a moment that the universe is like an orchestra. Every instrument in that orchestra is playing a note, a vibration, a frequency. When you walk into that concert hall, you don't hear one isolated sound, you hear the harmony or the chaos of everything combined. And here's the truth. Your life is part of that orchestra. Your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions, there. All frequencies. This is where many people misunderstand manifestation. They think it's about shouting louder, hustling harder, or wishing more intensely. But just like an orchestra, it's not about who plays the loudest, it's about who plays in tune. You could be hitting your drum as hard as possible, but if it's out of tune with the rest of the instruments, it won't create harmony. In fact, it creates dissonance, resistance, and conflict. The same happens when you try to force life with sheer effort, ignoring your frequency. You say you want abundance, but you dwell on lack. You say you want love, but you carry resentment. You say you want freedom, but you let fear dictate your choices. That's like playing the wrong note over and over and expecting the orchestra to adjust itself to you. It doesn't work that way. The universe responds not to what you say you want, but to what you are. And what you are is determined by your frequency. Frequency is alignment. It's not just what you do, it's who you are while doing it. Let me give you an example. Picture a person who wants to attract financial success. They decide to work harder, longer hours, putting in relentless effort. But deep down, they're operating on a frequency of fear. Fear of not having enough. Fear of losing what little they have. Fear of missing out. That frequency, fear, becomes the vibration they emit into the quantum field. No matter how much effort they pour in, the field mirrors back more circumstances that match that fear. Bills pile up. Unexpected expenses arrive. Opportunities slip away. Not because the person isn't working hard, but because their frequency is louder than their effort. Now imagine another person. They, too, desire financial success, but instead of operating from fear, they align themselves with gratitude, with confidence, with possibility. They still work, but the work is infused with a completely different frequency. Their effort feels lighter. Their energy attracts collaboration, and opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere. It's not luck, it's resonance. They tune their instrument to the right frequency, and suddenly the orchestra responds in harmony. That's the frequency principle. What you vibrate, you attract. It doesn't matter how hard you push if you're out of alignment. And here's the most liberating part. Shifting your frequency isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more aware of what you're broadcasting, moment by moment. Think of it like a radio. If you're tuned to 88.5 FM, but the song you want is playing on 101.2 FM, it doesn't matter how much you twist the volume knob, you won't hear your song. Turning up the volume is just more effort. Changing the station is frequency. That's where your focus should be, tuning yourself to the station of what you truly desire, not just wishing for it to appear on the wrong frequency. And here's the key. Once you get your frequency right, effort stops feeling like struggle. It starts feeling natural, almost effortless, because now you're moving with the current instead of against it. You're in flow. The universe becomes your collaborator, not your opponent. The great mistake is believing manifestation is about force. The great truth is that manifestation is about frequency. Once you live in harmony with what you desire, the doors open not because you push them down, but because you are already vibrating at the level where they unlock themselves. We've been raised on the belief that hard work is the ultimate answer. Hustle, grind, push yourself harder than anyone else, and eventually success will bend to your will. And while effort is important, here's the hidden truth. Without alignment is like running on a treadmill. You sweat, you strain, you burn energy, but you never actually move forward. Think about how many times in your life you've tried harder, worked longer, sacrificed more, only to feel frustrated when the results didn't match the effort. It feels unfair, almost like life is withholding something from you. But the reality is simple. The quantum field doesn't respond to effort, it responds to frequency. If your actions are out of sync with your inner vibration, no amount of effort will override that. Missile, L-I-G-N-M-E-N-T. This is why you sometimes see people who don't seem to work as hard achieve incredible success. It's not that they're lucky. It's that their actions are aligned with a frequency that naturally attracts the outcome they're seeking. Their focus is on resonance, not resistance. Imagine planting seeds in barren soil. You could water them endlessly, toil under the sun, and still see nothing grow because the environment isn't aligned with life. Now imagine planting those same seeds in fertile soil. Even with less effort, they flourish. That's the difference between effort and alignment. Effort alone is barren soil. Effort with frequency is fertile ground. This doesn't mean you abandon work. It means you work from a higher state of being. You take inspired action that feels like flow, not force. You channel your energy into places where it amplifies results rather than drains them. This shift is subtle but powerful. It transforms your path from one of exhaustion to one of expansion. And here's the key: when you start aligning your thoughts, motions, and intentions with the frequency of the outcome you desire, effort becomes a multiplier, not a substitute. It stops being about trying to make things happen and instead becomes about allowing things to unfold. So ask yourself, am I running endlessly on a treadmill, mistaking exhaustion for progress? Or am I tuning into the frequency of the life I want, where effort naturally accelerates results? Because once you choose alignment over blind effort, you stop chasing outcomes and outcomes start chasing you. When most people hear the term quantum field, their minds drift toward mysticism or wishful thinking. They imagine it as some cosmic genie waiting to grant desires if they just say the right words or visualize hard enough. But the truth is, the universe doesn't operate like that. The quantum field doesn't respond to begging, desperation, or force. It responds to frequency or state of being, the vibration you embody consistently. Think of it this way. If you tune your radio to 88.5 FM, you cannot expect to hear the music playing on 101.1. No matter how badly you want that other station, no matter how much effort you put into turning the dial until you align with the right frequency, the signal won't come through. Life works the same way. Most people exhaust themselves with effort, grinding endlessly, pushing harder, but all on the wrong frequency. They hustle in stress, chase in fear, and act from lack and then wonder why their lives mirror back struggle, chaos, and disappointment. You can't get abundance from a frequency of scarcity. You can't get peace from a frequency of worry. You can't manifest love while embodying loneliness. The field doesn't give you what you want. It reflects what you are. Here's the shift. Instead of trying to fight your way to success, elevate your frequency to match the life you desire. This means embodying gratitude before the blessing arrives, walking with confidence before the recognition comes, practicing abundance before the money shows up. The field is neutral. It's not biased toward effort, only resonance. You become a magnet for experiences that mirror your inner state. This is why people who carry calm certainty, even without everything figured out, tend to draw opportunities effortlessly. Their frequency broadcasts alignment, and the universe tunes in. But those who cling to desperation or doubt repel the very things they seek. Because their signal is scrambled, the real secret isn't about trying harder, it's about tuning in. You don't force the radio to play your song. You find the station where it's already playing. In the same way, stop exhausting yourself with misaligned effort. Instead, align your inner state with the life you want, and watch how the field reflects it back with clarity. When you step into the quantum field, you're not just stepping into a place of endless potential. You're stepping into a mirror of your true self. But here's the thing. Most people are disconnected from that version of themselves. They operate only from their current limitations, their current fears, their current doubts. They ask for change while holding on to the very identity that keeps them stuck. And that's why so many people feel like nothing is shifting. You're higher. Self, the version of you already living the life you dream of, exists within the quantum field. It's not just imagination. It's energy, it's frequency, it's possibility waiting to be embodied. The question is, are you willing to align your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions with that version? Because if your higher self is operating at a frequency of clarity, abundance, and courage, but you're sitting in fear, frustration, and self-doubt, you'll always feel the gap. Think of it like tuning into a radio station. If your higher self is broadcasting on 98.7 FM, but you're stuck on 92.3, no matter how hard you try, you won't hear the music. You won't feel the energy. You won't experience the reality. The only way to connect is to shift your dial, to move into resonance with that frequency. So how do you do it? You start by asking, what would my higher self think in this situation? How would my higher self act? What energy would my higher self carry into this room, into this decision, into this challenge? Every time you answer with clarity, you're tuning closer to that frequency. And here's the breakthrough. You don't wait until circumstances change to step into that version of yourself. You embody it now. If your higher self is calm under pressure, you practice calm today. If your higher self is disciplined, you commit today. If your higher self is abundant, you live with gratitude today. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you wish for, it responds to who you are being. The moment you decide to live as your higher self now, you collapse the distance between your current reality and the reality you're dreaming of. That's not wishful thinking, that's alignment in action. One of the greatest barriers to manifestation is the need for control. Most people want to plant the seed today and see the tree tomorrow. They crave immediate results, and when they don't see them, they doubt, they panic. They pull the seed out of the soil to check if it's growing. But the truth is, nothing flourishes under constant doubt and impatience. Growth requires trust. Transformation requires surrender. When you send your intentions into the quantum field, your role is not to force the outcome, it's to align with the energy and then let the field do its work. Imagine a farmer planting a seed. He doesn't dig it up every morning to see if it sprouted. He waters it, he nurtures the soil, he trusts the unseen process happening beneath the ground. The quantum field works the same way. Once you've planted the intention with clarity and emotion, your job is to live in faith, not fear. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about your dream. It doesn't mean you stop taking action. It means you release the need to control how and when it unfolds. You let go of the desperation, the timeline, the obsession with results, because desperation lowers your frequency. When you cling too tightly, you're broadcasting lack. You're saying, I don't have it yet, and I'm afraid I never will. That's not alignment, that's resistance. Instead, step into the energy of trust. Trust that the field is working with you. Trust that your higher self is guiding you. Trust that timing is aligning in ways you cannot see yet. This is where miracles happen, not in control, but in surrender. And here's the paradox. The more you let go, the faster things align. When you release the pressure, you open the space for the universe to deliver in ways beyond your imagination. Some opportunities will come directly. Some will come disguised as challenges. Some will arrive later than you hoped, but right on. Time for your growth, so breathe, release, allow. Do your part, think, feel, act in alignment, and then let the process unfold. Because in the quantum field, trust is not weakness. It's the ultimate strength. Everything you've heard up until now comes down to this. You are not a passive observer of life. You are the creator of it. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold is shaping the reality you step into. The quantum field is not some distant, abstract concept. It's alive. It's responsive. It mirrors back to you the energy you bring. Into it, when you begin to live with intention, you step into your true power. 8. No longer drifting on autopilot. No longer letting circumstances dictate your future. You become deliberate. You wake up and decide who you are, what you stand for, and what you will bring into existence. You don't wait for life to happen. You create it. And creation doesn't mean perfection. It means alignment. It means showing up each day with clarity, with emotion, with action, and with trust. It means falling and rising, doubting and believing, learning and recalibrating. The quantum field responds not to fleeting wishes, but to consistent energy. When you hold a vision long enough, when you embody it deeply enough, reality has no choice but to bend in your favor. This is the power that has always been within you. It's not reserved for the few. It's not reserved for the lucky. It belongs to anyone who dares to take responsibility for their inner world. Because when you master your inner state, you master the outer. So here's the challenge. Stop playing small. Stop telling yourself stories of limitation. Stop waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. The field is listening. Now, your future self is calling you now. Live as if what you desire is already on its way. Act as if the universe is conspiring for you, because it is. Hold the vision, trust the process, release the doubt, and let your life unfold into something extraordinary. In the end, this isn't just about manifesting one goal or one dream. It's about becoming someone who lives consciously, powerfully, and intentionally. It's about stepping into the role you were always meant to play, the creator of your destiny. And once you fully embrace that truth, there is no limit to what you can become, do, or create.